can't win a flip. I'm not really liking it. Well, is there an 8 on the river? You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's the Poker News Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 886th episode of the Poker News Podcast. I am Chad Holloway, joined by Kyna and Mike Holtz at Level 9 Studio in Las Vegas. We have a fun show for you. We're going to talk some illegal gambling. We're going to talk Doug Polk and his Code Doug results, recent winners, my trip to the Eastern Poker Open, and we're going to remember a couple players who have unfortunately passed away. But let's start with, I feel like this is at the start of any drama headline of Florida man arrested for illegal gambling. This was an article that was on Poker News, and it was one James Kerr, who was arrested and allegedly laundered $800,000 from illegal poker games that he hosted about an hour, I think, outside of Orlando. And yeah, the law came down pretty hard on him. There was a whole news segment on the local Fox News affiliate. The sheriff came out and was even talking about it. His mugshot was plastered. I don't know. Is he a good guy, bad guy? He's got tournament success in his poker career, but here he is alleged to have run illegal gambling. But I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? Because I know as poker players, we've played in games that might not be above board, and a lot of poker people are like, live and let live sort of thing.
Gotta be more careful out there, guy. Don't get caught. I don't know.
Listen, we're living in a day and age where if you give the president of the United States $75 million in his meme coin, he will pardon you of your crimes. So I don't give a flying fuck that this guy has laundered $800,000 in a home game at Florida where human beings went with their own money and made their own decisions to play a game of skill against each other. This guy laundered it. So you're saying that he took the money and then he paid taxes on it and cleaned it and made it legal? So what the fuck, man? What are we doing? Like, who gives a shit? Like, the country is so corrupt right now, and we're dealing with this. Like, yeah, like wow. let's all be over. The sheriffs. Like, we have a bunch of grown men who are like, who cares? This is crazy to me. I don't think let the guy do what he wants.
I find it surprising that we are less than 2 minutes in and Mike already doesn't care about something.
No, this isn't a not care. I do care. I think I do care, but I think it's ridiculous that he's being. This guy's just getting.
He went out of his way to clean the money so he could pay taxes on it. How dare they?
No, literally, I'm like, you think if I run that game, I'm not paying taxes on that shit. You know what I mean? Like, no, I would, but I'm not running any illegal games like some certain streamers are or anything like that. Cough, cough. But I think this guy, what are we doing here? Well, I think, yeah, sure, it's illegal, but like, why? Like, so that Florida can collect taxes and then give it all to other Florida men to do crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no state income tax in Florida.
That's true.
That's cool, man.
I would be curious to know.
Cool, dude.
I'd be curious to know more details about the game in terms of, like, according to the reports, some undercover detectives infiltrated the games that apparently ran from like 2021 to 2023. So, and this arrest was recent.
Good thing that's what I want my taxpayer money to go to. Go investigate this. Really stick it to this guy.
I guess my question then too is like, do the detectives get to keep their winnings? If they're undercover and they win?
No, that's the whole thing is you think they were winning.
Do you think they were winning?
I play with cops. They're not winning.
But like, I'm conflicted on something like this, right? Because I know plenty of people who run games, maybe not to this scale. And I think that's where my issue is if you're going to run, an underground game that is technically illegal, like, you're going to be able to get away with it if you don't scale it too much, right? And I don't know how much you scaled it by the sounds of it, though. If there's hundreds of thousands involved, there's the issue, in my opinion, right? If you're just hosting a 1-2 game where there's maybe $1,000 or $2,000 in the game each night, I don't think that's as egregious. I also don't know if he's taking rake and things like that, or
I
charging for service. Yeah, I assume as well. But
how did he clean it? Did he buy a car wash?
Like Breaking Bad style. I don't know. There's still a lot of details that need to come out. And actually, we might get some of those details because my colleague, John Sofin, has been in touch with the player that was arrested, James Kerr, 39 years old. And I am curious. So these games allegedly took place between 2021 and 2023, and he just got arrested. So did he know the heat was onto him and he kind of stopped the games for a little while? I don't know, but John is in touch with him, apparently going to try to get an interview, but you know how that goes with the lawyers and that. So if he does, next week we'll probably have an update. But for now, it's just I think he's out on bail. The bail was set at $60,000 and he had to be subject to GPS monitoring. And yeah, he saw our article.
Wow, what a hardened criminal, this guy. We really got to keep him off the streets, man.
It is always interesting, though, when the poker world like touches the real world, right? And you see stuff like this on the national news, and it's like, oh, gambling illegal. Nah.
I mean, he does have a neck tattoo, so he you know, I guess.
So he'll be okay in prison? Is that what you're getting at?
Oh, no. I retract all my statements. The man's clearly a criminal.
No,
I thought he was a lawyer.
No, he's. I don't know what he did in his.
Didn't it say he was holding some of them at a law office?
No, the game was being held at like an old law office building, right?
Okay.
So the law office was gone out of business. He, is an accomplished poker player, like $700,000 in winnings, according to the Hendon Mob. In 2021, he took down a $1,700 buy-in tournament at the Seminole Hard Rock Tampa for $228K. And he has another six-figure score. So he's actually a decent poker player. Just got caught up with, illegal operations, money laundering. I don't know exactly what they're going to charge with, but the sheriff also did say in the news conference that he gave, just because these are the only charges that are out there right now, doesn't mean we might not file more, alluding to the players that actually participated in the game, which I think would just be bullshit. Go after the guy who's running the game, sure, but
they're not going to go anywhere. That's the classic, I'm a police officer and I have more power than you, so we might get everybody. They're not getting it. It's not going to happen. They're going to go after the operator. They never go after the players and these sort of things. And if they did, it would be a ridiculous miscarriage of justice. Not going to happen.
And it is, like you said, unfortunate that they put time and money into this kind of investigation to send undercover cops in to play this game. Like, where did that money come from?
No, it's absurd.
What?
No, he should just buy $300,000 worth of Trump coin, holler at Donnie T, and just say, "Pardon the kid." That's what you do. You're good.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the raids that happen at in the Texas poker room sometimes, right? And I remember one, I think it was in Wauwatosa, where I actually visited there.
I was going to say, too, I heard about the Wisconsin raids. There were a couple of them.
Oh, I don't even know about the Wisconsin
Well,
ones.
you said Wauwatosa. That's Wisconsin, isn't it?
No. That's, there's all kinds of maybe it is Wauwatosa. There's Wausau. There's all kinds of Waukesha, Waunakee, Waniwak. There's too many. But the one I'm talking about is in Texas. And I was there years ago, the Poker News Texas road trip. We went there, met the owner, spent a few hours mingling, and then it subsequently got raided, the following year. But anyways, the point being was the police came, they raided. It was a day 2 of a tournament. They waited until day 2 of the tournament. They could have stopped it before the tournament got underway, made sure that money was there in the prize pool, right? And then came and seized all the money, came and seized all the equipment, filed some charges. All of the charges eventually got dismissed. But none of that money was ever refunded or anything. It was a money grab by the local law enforcement.
Standard stuff. They're thugs. They're basically just a gang.
That sucks for the players, for sure.
And like Mike has said, just like the rampant corruption in all different facets of the United States right now.
It's ramping up in every industry. It's really crazy. And the more you see it up top, the more people in lower industries, it's a trickle-down effect, which is, it's crazy. I don't know.
You guys should watch that new documentary on Netflix, too, about the police corruption with that Gone Girls thing. Have you seen that? It's about just how in, I think it was Staten Island, New York, they just ignored all these murders going on and kind of hid it and just didn't investigate the guy. The guy had killed people for 10 years.
It's crazy.
Got away with it until people stepped up and were like, why aren't you doing anything? So, corruption everywhere. It's scary world, scary time.
Yeah. And it's not even the corruption aspect of it. You got to dodge the law enforcement if you're going to play in these sort of games. But you also got to worry, it reminds me of Texas Doyle Brunson back in the day saying, it was one thing to go in and win the money and then another to get out with it because you always often have to worry about people coming and robbing these sort of games. And, what is the security like at these sort of things?
Good thing that all the regulated games we have online and in casinos and all around, they're protected and nobody cheats in those.
I mean, you just still do feel safer like leaving the casino. I don't ever I should maybe be a little more diligent, but like I
play
just
at Baltimore
don't.
Horseshoe. You let me know
Yeah,
how
I know.
safe you
Well,
feel.
it's like around here in Vegas, like it's just like I feel a
Sure.
little safer leaving. I remember in Chicago, I used to play those charity games, and there was always lots of money there too. And there was a security guard, but like sometimes he was lazy and he'd just like sit behind the desk. And I was like, I made a comment. I was like, yeah, man, making us feel real safe over here. And he got real mad. Like, don't be telling me how to do my job. Like, bro, like make people feel safe. If I feel unsafe and I'm mentioning it to you, like maybe do something about it. I don't know.
Kyna in England, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's mine. You know what? What's bothering you today, Kyna? I like to feel safe places that I go. That's what.
I like to feel danger. That's what I'm looking for.
All right, let's turn our attention to Doug Polk and his code Doug. This was a challenge he set for himself, or they did for promotional purposes, to win $100,000 in 1 month on Club WPT Gold, and it didn't go so hot for Doug. We gave a little bit of an update last week, and they finished it off this past weekend. He went heads up with Eric Persson for one last shot at trying to get somewhere. I mean, I think he was only sitting at like $18K in profit heading into the heads up match, but it didn't go so hot right off the bat. I don't know if you guys seen it. There was a hand. We're going to show it here in a minute, but it was just essentially a cooler right out of the get-go, straight, and Eric Persson had the better end of it. And anyways, check it out.
I have to do it. The fans at home would be disrespected otherwise.
That makes sense. And in a spot like that, I just have to do one thing.
You're going to 3-bet the turn here. Okay.
I know it's weird.
Well, I guess if you got it, you got it. So I'm going to start off with a call here. Oh, God. Oh, wait, shit.
I'm going to bet a lot eventually.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
What the hell?
Oh, my God.
Oh, that is so rigged. Rigged.
Oh,
Oh,
you
that
didn't
was...
see that coming, did you, big boy?
No, I didn't.
You know,
I literally didn't.
No.
Oh,
You
my
know.
God. Oh. Oh, Jesus. Oh, we're on the ropes now, guys.
All right, so there you have it. Polk loses that hand, and it's really hard to dig out of that hole. Ends up losing like $17K in the match, but overall in the challenge, profits $1,421, which is nothing, but it does prevent him from shaving his head. Because I guess if he lost money, he was supposed to shave his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you guys make of this whole code Doug? Was it fun, successful? I mean, he streamed almost every single day.
I watched it a little bit. I had the Eric Persson one on Saturday while I was working. I was just kind of listening to it. I mean, it was kind of hard to follow the action because they're playing so fast and you can't see their cards or anything. But like, they were shit talking and having a good time. But like, I wear headphones at work and like I'm doing my work and I'm just listening. And every once in a while, like Eric Persson would just start singing. I was like, oh, please make it stop. Like, please stop singing, But other than that, it was enjoyable challenge to watch.
It seemed like it was pretty successful to me. I mean, they kind of attacked social media from all angles. It was hard to not see Doug on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. By the way, there's a Mike Holtz impersonator on X. Like 50 people have reported him. They just won't delete the account.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's just the same thing as me. He's asking people for money, except for there's a instead of an L in Holtz, it's an I.
Yeah, I reported that. I reported it.
Yeah, and then they're like, then they're posting. They're like, the verified account that got hacked. This is really it's just ridiculous.
Yes.
It's in 4 days. My account's the guy's not deleted. But I digress. What were we talking about?
Actually, it reminds me once. I sold action once for a package and. I won't name the name, but it was a well-known poker player. I was going to buy like 5%. And he commented on my post on Facebook or Twitter, whatever one it was. I'll take 5%. And then I was busy, reaching out to other people. I hadn't gotten to him. And he messages me. He says, did you get it? Get what? Like, no, I haven't. And anyways, long story short was somebody seen that he had posted that he was going to take some of my action, quickly created a fake account of me, and then, slipped into his DMs acting like me, and the guy fell for it, unfortunately.
Oh, that sucks.
And it sucked. Like, I felt really bad because this all happened even before he and I made contact. And it's like, man, that's shitty that people are out there doing that sort of thing.
Was it Kessler?
Yeah. No, if it was Kessler, I would have been happy to say so. Kessler actually has messaged me recently. He's doing his I think it's the 3rd annual Chainsaw Mixed Game Series coming up in May. But the big news out of it for me was that it's taking place at Planet Hollywood, and from what I've heard, Planet Hollywood is getting a poker room back.
Yeah,
Have you heard this?
Yeah, I talked recently to some of those guys at the Horseshoe, and some of them are moving over there. So they've been talking about Planet Hollywood Poker Room open. And I've just been making a joke like, well, never see you again, because it's just like, it's difficult to get to Planet Hollywood. Like the parking situation is bad. It's like smack in the middle of the strip. I mean, man, I'm the complainer today, huh? Like it's me. I'm the
complaints.
Mike. But anyway, I was just saying, like, hopefully they build it out and it's a nice room, but just Planet Hollywood, not the ideal location that I'd be wanting to go to.
Here's what I'll say, right? If I was the owner of a business and I was considering expansion, let's say, and maybe I had some properties before, maybe I had 6 to 10 properties, and a few of them didn't do so well, so I closed them down. And what I would do before I went to reopen them was I would make sure that the small amount of properties I do have left are doing good. Like they're doing great. We fixed the issues.
All right, and then one last thing about Doug in this, the Code Doug Challenge. So he played for 160 hours total play, profited $1,421, averages out to $8.80 an hour.
I bet he crushed on the Code Doug thing, though. He had to make so much money on that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's actually funny, though. $8 minimum wage.
No, I think that was a genius marketing play by them. I mean, it's really been everywhere.
Yeah, and he had some big days, losing days. Like he never really came close to that $100,000 mark. I'm looking over some of the results here. It looks like he was down. The most he was down was $48,000 at one point, and the most he was ever up was like $25K. So didn't really come close to hitting that $100K mark. All right, let's thank our sponsor for this episode of the Poker News Podcast, and that is the WSOP free-to-play app. This is an app that I'm on almost every single day doing the daily blitz, playing the little side games, and I'm not going to lie, I like to play a little bit of the PLO on there. They sent in a video. Check it out. All right, we are back to talk some tournament winners, the recent tournament winners presented by WPT Global. And we're going to start, we talked about the WSOP circuit at the Horseshoe. That's where we're going to start because it was Shannon Shorr taking down the $1,700 main event there for $207,000. And surprisingly, to me at least, was his first piece of WSOP gold in a live realm. He's had success online, but this is his first live gold. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was exciting. I was kind of there. I caught the tail end of it when he won. It was, it just looked like that's what was about to happen, like the whole time, like it was like, oh, when did Shannon Shorr win yet? Did he win yet? But good for him. He's going to be like the new Jeremy Osmus, like leave some money for the rest of us.
No,
Shannon.
100%. He's equally as big of a scumbag as well. Just two terrible human beings, Osmus and Shannon. No one has a good thing to say about them, obviously, Cough. No, the Alabama White Snake, Shannon Shorr gets it done again. That's what the headlines say. That's what everyone calls him. Just a good time for everybody. Good for Shannon. He's crushing it lately.
Alabama White Snake.
That's what they call him. I don't know. What does that even mean? I'm not sure.
I read an article by Lance Bradley about Shannon is, giving up alcohol essentially he did for a year and, really it changed his life ways. And your boy, real quick, kind of Michael Burke finished in 10th place in that tournament.
Go Burke,
go.
Go
Burke. Yeah, Burke's a crusher.
I seen Shannon Shorr then travel down to the Seminole Hard Rock in South Florida with Francis Anderson, who actually won his first ring, the $3,300 high roller at the Horseshoe. Took that down for $56,000, defeating Sam Laskowitz in heads-up play. I think Sam won a ring earlier in the series as well.
Yep, everybody's crushing it. They're doing great, man. Good for them. Good guys, all three of them. Love to see the success.
Absolutely. And then the circuit right now is actually in my neck of the woods, even though I'm not going to make it down there, in Elgin, Illinois at the Grand Victoria Casino. And Kyna, a good friend of yours and mine, got herself a ring.
Yeah, my girl Missy, she took one down, $600 no limit, I think, for her second ring. So congrats, Missy, such a crusher. It's so funny. The thing about Missy too is that she's like really fun and sweet, but like at the poker table, like her resting bitch face is crazy. Like you look over at her and she's just like mean mugging the fuck out of someone. And so all the pictures like that I got sent from her at the table are just like that, like her heads up, like, you know, like just disgusted and like a stupid fucking idiot. I can hear it in her head too. Like it's funny, but yeah, she's a great person. I'm glad that she took that one down. Well deserved. Nice job, Missy.
Good friend of the podcast because her husband, is that her husband, Dan?
Danny, yeah. Milwaukee Danny.
He won our giveaway for what did he win? It
for
was
the
the
gold
free will
pass,
seat.
I think. Yeah,
the
he
gold
won.
pass.
Yeah, we picked him. We picked him randomly.
Yeah, that was that was fun to see. So congratulations to Missy and representing Wisconsin well. There is also the PLO series at PokerGo Studio recently wrapped up. We recapped some winners last week, but there have been some other winners. The whole series is over, and when Jesse Lonis just crushed it, he ended up winning one title, event number 9, the $1,500 PLO for $308,000. Had a second place finish, 2 thirds, and a 9th.
Pretty sick.
Won basically $800,000 in the series. Topped the leaderboard, 662 points behind ahead of Alex Foxen, who finished in second with 633 points. So Bryce Yockey took down a title for $402,000 total winnings. Not that just one title, but we mentioned Negreanu last week. Dylan Weissman is another who won. I don't know.
Earlier
I love PLO.
today. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Were we on Florida or were you talking about PokerGo? Sorry. I zoned out for a second.
PokerGo.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Keep going then.
Well, I did say that, that Shannon Shorr and them guys went down to Florida.
Down to Florida, yeah. I heard Florida and I was like, well, I have some more winners I saw today. Go ahead, though. I'll wait my turn.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I love the PLO series. PLO is my game of choice. And, see like Chino Ream winning a title
Didn't
there.
Jim Colby win one too?
He did. He won the very last one. I think it was the 25K championship that they had. He won that defeating Dylan Weissman in heads-up play. Dylan Weissman is like, when I think best PLO players in the world, Dylan Weissman is right up there towards the top.
Sure.
Yeah. Nice guy too.
But yep. And then, that's pretty much it for big winners. But there was some littler winners where I was last weekend. I went over to the Boston land area for the Eastern Poker Open. This is basically a bar poker league and their annual championship, if you will. And I went over there and it was a lot of fun. And I say this because, look, I've covered tournaments like the PLO series with the high rollers. I love those guys. They're great, but they don't necessarily care about like live reporting and what it is that PokerNews does sometimes. Whereas when we go to these small events and we're reporting on these bar players who might not otherwise ever get in an update, and it just makes their day and they're showing it off to their family and friends, like that's very rewarding to me.
Yeah, it's got to be really nice for them.
It is like, there was the one winner in particular. So this was put in conjunction with Bar Poker Open, which is Glenn McCrory. I met a guy in there named Craig who runs the Eastern Poker Tour, helps. He was great in running this. I was there with Jesse Folan, former co-host of the PokerNews podcast. He was there, and my colleague Josh Noy. We were set up in Media Row. And one of the winners was older gentleman, Jordan Fishman, took down their high roller. It was a $1,650 event. And what was really cool about this was his girlfriend was there. They played the same event. She essentially bubbled, but she was there sweating him the whole way. They had met in this bar poker league. They'd known each other for like 15 years. They've been dating for 2. And just to see the elation, her name is Linda Swears, the elation on her face, cheering him on. I don't know. It's just like one of those, like, this is what poker, is all about. We talk about a lot of the drama, a lot of the bullshit, a lot of the high rollers and the big tournament stuff. But, your average Joe is playing these sort of games.
Yeah, I mean, I used to play those in college. That's how I kind of learned. We had bar league, and it wasn't even for money. It was like if you won that night, you got a free bar tab, and then you'd like earn points and stuff to play, like at the end. So
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And like, we focus so much on the 1% of the poker world. The high roller and those players that are the most popular in the game, but it's like an iceberg. Like the majority of players in the poker world all around are these home game and bar league players who, maybe get into a casino every now and then, but are pretty much playing, on their own for free or next to nothing. And I don't know, it was cool to be there. Another winner they had their championship event was one Rick Ziegler. He took it down. He's been playing on their bar league for, God, I think since 2005, he said. And so to see him win that for $10,000 was really cool. And then it was Boston, which I'd never been to before, the Boston land area. And I got to see a good friend of mine, Bernard Lee, was there. He came in, and I haven't seen Bernard recently. He's kind of transitioned away from poker to pickleball. And you remember we talked about his son a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah,
his son
with
had
the basketball bet. Yeah. Or like he made the half court shot and they didn't pay him, and then they did.
Yep, we talked about that a little bit. So it was cool to kind of catch up with Bernard and Ashley Adams, who a lot of people might not be familiar with. He's a poker author. I've known him from online and his work and being in the same industry, but I'd never met him in person before until this trip. So that was really cool for me to get the opportunity to meet Ashley Adams in person. All right, let us shift gears one more time and plug another show on the Poker News Network, and that is Connor Richards' Life Outside Poker. He recently interviewed Alexandra Botez, GG Poker ambassador, chess grandmaster, and she's just an awesome individual, and she was kind enough to sit down with Connor to talk poker and life outside poker. Thought we'd give you a little taste of what that was like. Check it out.
I do think our audience would be interested just in, the similarities between poker and chess. One is a game of more complete information than the other, but what would you describe as kind of the similarities and differences between the two games?
So I get asked this a lot, but actually something I was thinking about last night is how when you're playing chess, you know exactly how the pieces move. Like, the knight moves, how the pawns move. When you're studying poker, if you've been studying a lot of GTO, you can know that there are technical spots, but what's unpredictable is you don't know people and you have to bucket them in. Are they even going to play GTO? Or are they just going to play something else? And it just allows for a lot more creativity and chance and personalities than chess does. But at the same time, getting good at either of them requires a lot of time and hours and technical skills and a lot of commitment.
So you would say poker is a more creative game than chess?
It's creative in a different way, where I think it can potentially benefit people to have a different skill set than chess. So for chess, a lot more of it is on calculating or things like that, whereas I think some people are incredibly good at reading others. That's something that would not give you any advantage in chess. So I like the added element of psychology.
That's just a little taste of what you can expect in the episode. You can check it out on YouTube or PokerNews.com right now. And Kyna, you had a recommendation for people to check out something on Netflix.
Yeah, I can't. I wish my brain worked better and I could remember what the show was actually called. But it's something about Secret Millionaire or I can't remember. It's on Netflix. It's new. And it's about winning $1 million, and it's a bunch of people, just random people. It's sort of like Traders-y But I was watching it the other day, and apparently one of the ladies on the show, Lydia, is a professional poker player. And at first I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, she's a little quiet. But then you see her be real sneaky, and then she's actually hilarious, trolling these people. And she's like, what a bunch of wimps. It's funny. So it's a good show. It's a good premise. So if you're looking for something fluffy to watch, it's a good one to check out.
We had some people in Poker News talking about it, and so they did a little deep dive. She didn't have much for tournament results, but they learned that she plays in Texas quite a bit. So
cool.
I don't know, maybe we'll see her at the World Series of Poker. Could be fun.
Yeah, come find us, Lydia, if you see this. You did awesome.
Speaking of poker in Texas, I mentioned at the top of the episode we're going to remember a couple people, and one of them is Keith Hall, who was from the Texas area with his wife, Ruth Hall, who is more well-known in the poker community. She is a crusher in a lot of regards, winning a lot of different tournaments in Texas and in Vegas. She's just been around an advocate for women in poker. And those of us who have known her knew that her husband has been sick with cancer for a while now. And they had a very strong connection. And unfortunately, Keith Hall did pass away. Ruth shared that on social media, and the reactions to it. Obviously, everybody very sad, but the poker community really came out and showed their support for her. And then I caught up with Ruth over the WSOP last summer about this very situation. So I was very sad to hear it, as I was sad to hear of the passing of one Stan Shrier, who I'm guessing you guys don't know, most people don't know, but he was a member of what is arguably the toughest final table in WSOP
he got third.
Main event history. He did. He got third in the year 2000.
Oh.
2001. Okay. Yeah, no, you're right, 2001.
I got it right. You didn't? That's crazy. That's wild.
Well, who won? Who won the WSOP main event in 2001?
Oh, it was, let's see, Mattisau, Helmuth. We're at the table.
The Brazilian guy?
Yeah, it's Carlos Mortensen.
Yes, not Brazilians, but
Spanish.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he only had like $12,000 in career earnings before that too at WSOP.
Yeah, so Carlos Mortensen defeated Dewey Tomko, a poker Hall of Famer in heads-up play, and then Stan Shrier was third place for almost $700K. Phil Gordon,
sixth
fourth
place. Something. Oh, fourth, okay.
Yeah, fourth for Phil Gordon, who I interviewed just a few weeks ago. We actually talked about him making this final table. And Phil Helmuth was out in fifth, Mike Mattisau in sixth, and he didn't make the final table, but he came close. He finished in 11th, was Daniel Negreanu. He actually was chip leader with 12 left. And he busted in 11th place.
Wow, unfortunate.
Sucks.
Yeah, I don't know how. This was. I don't believe this year was televised, but Stan Shrier, he was 89 years old. He was from Nebraska, really well known in Omaha poker circles, and he was a grocer that retired, went out to Vegas, and was living the dream, and got to this final table.
That's so cool.
I interviewed him back in 2015, and to hear him tell the stories and what it was like to be at that final table and Helmuth melting down, it was just cool. He was a cool guy, and I was very sad to see him pass away. But it was just one of those, this guy that most people probably never heard of, but plays this very unique part of poker history. And you would be, find me another WSOP final table that's main event final table that's more stacked than that one was.
Mm-hmm.
None. Yeah, none.
Are we doing the Australian accent?
I don't know. Are we talking about pure skill level or just names?
Probably names.
Okay.
I guess. Right?
Names, you win, brother. You are correct.
The skill level at the 2001 WSOP final table isn't comparable to the skill level at the recent.
I don't think Dewey Tomko had anyone on the rail with a laptop. I could be wrong, but.
That would be funny. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the Poker News Podcast. We will be back every Thursday. We're actually going to be doing 2 episodes a week during the 2025 WSOP. There'll be a rotating cast of guest hosts depending on your guys' availability, because like last summer, you got poker that needs to be played. Are you guys excited? I don't know the exact days from right now, but it's like less than 50 days away.
I have a deep existential dread forming in my body about this.
I sort of feel a little dread when it comes up too. Like, I'm just like, oh, here it comes again. And then you put your schedule together and you start to get excited again. And then friends start to come into town. It's always like, that's the process for me a little bit. I don't know.
And for me, I'm usually incredibly excited the whole time. This time, not so much.
No, really? Okay.
Deep existential dread. Can't win a flip. I'm not really liking it. It's just like every time it's like 8. I'm like, no, not on the river. Just... Well, is there an 8 on the river? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's okay. We're going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I'm going to be fine.
For me, it progressively gets more exciting, as it starts to happen. Like right now, I'm like, oh, it's coming. It's tiring too. I'm tired.
Yeah, I heard that, Shouty.
All right, well, do us a favor, subscribe, give us that 5-star review. I'm going to go to the MSPT up in the Twin Cities this weekend, so next week I'll have a report on that. And until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.